Hey there, Pepper people. Let's talk about chipmunk cheeks today. Now, chipmunk cheeks is like slang for when you're using CPAP or Bilevel. You have it on and you're either drifting off or you're waking up because of it, but your cheeks get this big flow of air into your cheeks, puffs them out, you look like a rodent. Now, this is actually something that I suffer from or suffered from, so it's something I put a lot of time and effort into kind of understanding. There's no real one answer to it. There's actually a lot of things that contribute to it, but it is something that I do suffer with and have suffered with in the past. And if you've seen my family, you can see why. Here's a picture of my dad. You can see he has beady rat-like features. And then here's a picture of my mom. To me, with chipmunk cheeks, you have three different problems. One is leak. The second is tongue posture. And the third and the primary one really is pressure delivery problems. Let's kind of hit these in order of least helpful to most. So with all these examples, let's just go ahead and assume that the pressure is perfect for you and the mode of therapy that you're on is perfect for you. It takes out a big variable. So with mouth leaking is the easy one. If your jaw tends to open up during sleep, you're gonna have periods where air is just gonna wanna come out of your mouth and you get that before it starts actually coming out of your mouth. Simple solution to this is taping. I highly recommend cover roll stretch tape. It works great. If you happen to have a big bodacious beard, you can use a similar product made by the same people called Hypofix, just a stronger adhesive. There's other things, it's kinesiology tape. You can just use that, or you can buy pre-cut kinesiology tape, which are things like PAP-MD or hostage tape. So there's that. Now you have tongue posture, I'm not gonna say problems, it's not really a problem, just things you can do. Now I know all people don't have a long, flexible Gene Simmons tongue like myself, but it really helps if you can take your tongue, kind of put it to the roof of your mouth while you have CPAP on and running, and then you're gonna swallow with your tongue pressed up on the roof of your mouth. This really seals your mouth closed. Now this is really only for people who are using a nasal or a nasal pillow mask. You want to be able to breathe out of your mouth with a full face mask. You don't really want to do it with that, but with a nasal pillow mask, that really helps seal your mouth closed, prevents air from coming in. And remember, you're on the correct pressure in this hypothetical. So your soft palate and your tongue are gonna compress, you're swallowing, getting all of that air out of your mouth. And now you just have the pressure keeping the back of your airway open. Now really pressure delivery issues, to me, is the most common reason for chipmunk cheeks. Now, if you're on just straight CPAP, and again, you're on the right pressure, you're on CPAP and it keeps happening every night, this was me. What I did, you know what, yes, I do have it. I only have a couple visual aids with me today. One is this lovely outdoor succulent plant that we have. Let me put that a little more in frame so we can all enjoy that. And the other is VCOM. So we're talking about pressure delivery problems. I'm on the right pressure. But what's happening is the pressure is being delivered too fast. You have to remember with CPAP, when I inhale, I'm creating a lot of dead space. That's gonna create the CPAP machine. It's gonna make it wanna increase to try to make up for that void. So now I'm breathing out against a higher pressure, and I breathe in, and it really ramps up more than I can really stand or really want. And so my cheeks puff out. That's how it happens. Now what I do to combat that is I use VCOM. What VCOM does, put it up nice and close, you have holes there. So if I have my mask here and I have my tubing here, I'm putting the VCOM right in between the two. That's where it goes in the circuit. And what it does when I'm breathing in, because these holes are here, it's actually restricting the flow coming in. So it's making it so that I don't get that big burst of air on inhale, but I still have the EPAP there to hold my airway open on exhalation. Now there is a slight drop in pressure as I start to inhale. This is what's keeping me from getting chipmunk cheeks, but it's also kind of keeping me from getting the right pressure. So there's gonna be a trade-off on all of these. Pressure delivery problems, these are all gonna have a trade-off, every single one of them. VCOM is no different. We're slowing down the inspiratory flow, so we're gonna have to make up for that probably by increasing the pressure by 1 to 2 centimeters of water. The flow rate is still gonna be slower. But now you have to have a higher pressure to make up for that. And no, that will not cause chipmunk cheeks to occur. All right, while we're talking about VCOM, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, that is cpapsupplies.com. They in fact do sell the VCOM. This is not like a promotional thing. VCOM just happens to work. Ever since I tried it, I've been using it. Every time I take it out, chipmunk cheeks. So it's perfect for this video because this is a solution. Anyway, back to cpapsupplies.com. You can buy these. I want to say they're like 30 bucks, maybe 25 bucks, but you can use discount code for the month of June, Lefty Summer. Look, we're in the back. I got a pool back here. I'm sweating my cheeks off. I probably got a skunk stripe down the back of my shorts from sweat. Yeah, it's pretty hot. But what also is hot is saving tons of loot. You get 25% off using discount code Lefty Summer. Now you can also buy any mask or accessory that you're interested in, get 25% off. I am told they have amazing customer service, and I will name names. Julie, you get a shout out. Okay, another thing that you can use with just straight CPAP is EPR. That's expiratory pressure relief. Now, again, there's a consequence for using EPR. You're probably gonna have to up the pressure, but what EPR does, one, it drops the pressure on exhalation, but two, it does slow down the curve as it's increasing. EPR is meant to be comfortable. It's not meant to go and jack you back up and cause that chipmunk cheek. It's meant to be slow on the exhale and like a slow rounded curve on the inhalation phase, slowing down the pressure. So this is cheap Jason talking. In order of operations, if you're on CPAP and you're having chipmunk cheeks and you're on the right pressure, one, try EPR. It's free. You don't need a discount code for that. It's free. Just try it out, see if it works for you. Two, go to VCOM. VCOM is actually awesome. It solves a lot of other problems. I won't get into that now because this is strictly about chipmunk cheeks. Okay, second thing, if you are on bilevel, I'm talking about standard traditional bilevel, not ASV. If you're on ASV, you're kind of screwed. Now, if you're on bilevel and you're on the right pressure of bilevel, you're obviously not using V-auto. You're not on VPAP. It's not variable. You're on a fixed pressure, probably on S mode. Now, if you're having chipmunk cheeks with bilevel, there's a very, very simple fix. You almost have a VCOM built into that device. Now, if you look at your settings, you go into the clinician's menu. I have videos on how to do that if you don't know how. But if you go in there, you will see that there is a setting called Easy Breathe. Easy Breathe is an automatic feature of rise time. It is basically an auto rise time. It tries to mimic your natural breath, and that includes how fast you're trying to breathe. How fast you're going from exhalation to peak inhalation. I'll go ahead and put a graphic up of this. So basically you have 0 and you have 1 second. In between there are milliseconds. So you have 100, 200, 300, 400, all the way up to 900 milliseconds for the rise time. Easy Breathe is basically like a souped up EPR in a way. It tries to round the curve. It tries to mimic your breathing as best it can. But sometimes it screws up and you need to go in and intervene. And to do that, your cheeks are puffing out with Easy Breathe on. What you want to do is slow down the rise time. You want to put it on like basically a manual setting. So you turn off Easy Breathe. Now rise time is going to show. Easy Breathe typically is around 300, 350 milliseconds. However, it's going to feel very, very different because Easy Breathe is trying to curve everything. It's trying to make everything smooth, inhalation, exhalation. It's doing it fast, but it's trying to make it more comfortable, more natural. Every time rise time is on, it's going to be very binary. It's going to be like kind of wah, 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 wah. But if you slow down the rise time, meaning it takes longer for that breath to be delivered, it's going to be like wah, 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 instead of wah, wah. That's gonna be 100 milliseconds. It's gonna be very fast. You're gonna get punched in the gut. It's gonna pop you quick. Probably gonna get chipmunk cheeks there. So what you wanna do is sample different rise time settings until your chipmunk cheeks go away. I typically have people start off at like 400 milliseconds. Try that for a couple nights, move it up to 500 milliseconds, and keep going up until finally your cheeks stop puffing out. All right, I told you before, there's a cost to all this. Because you're decreasing the punchiness of bilevel, You may have to alter your pressures slightly, and I mean by going upward. Sometimes you have to increase the inspiratory pressure. Sometimes you can leave the EPAP where it is, but sometimes IPAP and EPAP need to go up. Sometimes just IPAP needs to go up. But again, to say this one more time, with every pressure delivery problem, there's going to be a consequence doing something to slow down that inspiratory flow. And sometimes with chipmunk cheeks, you have a leak problem, tongue posture problem, as well as a pressure delivery problem. It can be all three, it can just be one of them. Anyway, do me a favor, let me know in the comment section if you have ever had chipmunk cheeks, and what you did to solve them, and if you still have chipmunk cheeks and you try one of these, let me know what you did to resolve your chipmunk cheeks. You know I love hearing from you jerks. All that said, if you're at that point where you're like, what the hell am I doing? I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm on the right pressure. I'm really just lost, Jason. I have no idea. Help me. You can go to my website, axgsleepdiagnostics.com. Best one to do is an Oscar PAP therapy analysis. It's a one-on-one Zoom session. We have an initial meeting. I basically go through everything, show you what I'm looking for, what I'm looking at, what stuff means, give you some recommendations of things to try. We come back, have another appointment. The other thing you can do is a Sleep HQ analysis. This is a little more hands-off. There's no face-to-face Zoom meeting with this one. That's why it's less expensive. I basically look at a few days, sometimes a week, try to get a pattern going on and see what you can do to resolve that. All communication with the Sleep HQ is done through email. I do provide some screenshots, but it's a lot more hands-off. For me, it takes a lot less time. That's why it costs a lot less. I would like to thank all the Patreon supporters, YouTube members, as well as simply just the people that are watching this still. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Clean your stinky mask with some Mask Bright, available at Amazon. Thank you to all watching, but an extra thick thanks, buddy, to Doug Toombs, Jason Georgiades, Patricia Espelong, Sarvesh Joshi, Stuart Hetherington, Mona Swearingen, Chungtu Chen, Edward Steiner, Erin Stevenson, Deborah Permute, and Shannon Kerr, and another slightly less thick thanks, buddy, to all the other YouTube members, Patreon supporters, and other stuff. I actually had some people that wanted to see my garden this year, and it's actually doing quite well. We have the pollinator over there, have some strawberry plants, we have some raspberry. I have a lemonade blueberry. That thing, look at that guy. That thing's about to die. But then we have our regular blueberry, and dude, these things are so dang good. They're all over the place. Those are sweet and juicy. So we have another raspberry. We have some tomatoes. Those are tasty. Tomato, I think I need to fertilize though. I have an artichoke with some onions around it. Then we have our massive zucchini. We have I wanted to try an eggplant, mostly for the memes, to be quite honest with you. Don't know if I like eggplant, but again, the memes. Then I have a pole bean. Those things are, I just realized the pole bean is in there with the eggplant. That's funny. You can't make that stuff up. Then over here we have the, I think beta cucumbers, like the little Persian cucumbers. Those things are really delicious, especially if you dip them in like blue cheese. Anyway, that's my garden. I've got a couple fruit trees too. We have a pluot tree. We have a couple Myers lemons. We have this big lemon tree. We have a cherry. I think that's a Rainier cherry. Those are delicious. That's my garden.